How about Tesla Model 3? I mean, we've heard a lot of bitching and complaining about the production delays and so forth. A lot of it was done by me, I have to admit, and they were well deserved. However, you know, it's the end of January, really beginning of February now, and the sales numbers are out, and based on Inside EVs, a website that tracks sales of electric cars and actually all plug-in electric cars, Tesla Model 3, #1. Now, in January, overall, the sales of electric cars kind of plunged because, you know, everybody's trying to get the $7,500 credit from the United States government. And then in January, they kind of tank. And by the way, these are the numbers for US sales, right? Model 3 is not even being sold outside of United States, so these are all US numbers, but nevertheless outsold the Prius, outsold the S and the X and the Chevy Bolt. So by the way, let me just make a statement. Model 3 just outsold Chevy Bolt and Nissan Leaf. I mean, I know Nissan Leaf is in transition, but Chevy Bolt, that just goes to what I was saying in the very beginning. I mean, Chevy Bolt is not where it should have been because of its design, because of some of the lack of its tech, and the numbers obviously show. Now, as Tesla ramps up the production, I expect Tesla Model 3 just to be the best seller pretty much throughout the year. I don't see anybody else catching them up, but the fact that it was already in January, that surprised me a little when I saw it this morning. So kudos to Tesla, even with the, you know, all the production problems, all of the ramp-ups problems and so forth, all the drama. Boom, starting the year on the right foot and outselling pretty much everybody as far as electric cars and plug-in electric cars are concerned. Cool shirt, says Jose in the chat room. That's right, Frank is my second favorite F word. And if you want to have one of these shirts, the link is down below in the description of this video. And by the way, guys, I know we're talking about it yesterday. If you want to get a chance to be behind of the wheel of the Tesla Semi, like I was the other day, a few months ago, just go ahead and go to the description of this video, and there's a link, my referral code link, and you can sign up for Tesla's newsletter. And if you do, both of us get entered into the raffle where they'll pick one person, one lucky winner to go and test drive a semi-truck around the racetrack there in Hawthorne, California. So that would be kind of cool. Don't forget, you're not just entering me, you're also entering yourself into this. And this is a part of the new referral program extension that Tesla announced yesterday. All right, so, well, another thing, let me remind you that this video and this channel is sponsored by Evanex, the aftermarket accessories for Tesla. And of course, the description of this video has their very own personal discount code if you want to shop there. Okay, let's move on to other news. Tesla's talking about mega chargers. Tesla has reached out and has been reaching out to like the companies that have ordered the most of the trucks, the biggest customer at this point, which I believe is UPS, Pepsi, and Anheuser-Busch. So I think between them, they're like got about 300 orders, which is not humongous, but they are right now the leaders as far as the orders are concerned. And, you know, Tesla been working with the trucking industry pretty much since they started designing this truck, which I thought it was, you know, absolutely genius thing to do. I mean, as it should be, right? You want to design a product for your customer. And now they're discussing where the first mega chargers are going to go. And yes, they're still going to obviously put them along the side of, you know, most common routes and so forth, just like they did with the Tesla superchargers. But right now they're negotiating, and not negotiating, bro, just talking to those companies about installing those mega chargers at their facilities. And this is probably what it's going to be. Just like charging needs to be done at home most of the time. I know we covered that topic over and over and over again. Same thing with with mega chargers, because you obviously don't want to have downtime when you travel, and especially if you travel where your time is money, when you're a company delivering goods in a semi-truck. Well, so while the semi-truck is docked at the destination, or usually it's a distribution center or warehouse, while the truck already has to be there, and a lot of times it can be there for hours, that's where the mega charger should be installed, because while you're unloading or loading the truck, the mega chargers can be charging it. So you really lose no time. There's no downtime to recharge or your semi once it's going from distribution center to the warehouse and so forth. So I thought it was pretty smart. I expect them to launch those mega chargers in there. Also, this way, they only have to deal one customer at a time, right? It's almost like they're selling, they were selling Model 3 only to their own employees at first, because here, let's say they install it at Pepsi's distribution centers, and if there are any problems, they just have one complaint, right? They have only one customer complaining, one customer to satisfy. So that was something that I thought was pretty cool. Let's see. Eco Kids in the chat room says Model 3 will be the best-selling EV for the next few years. I agree, though there's some competition. I want to see how the Niro V does from Kia. So we'll see. But yeah, I absolutely agree. I think Model 3 will kick ass. But I was surprised that it just happened so soon, pretty much right away, right? Right away. Can we finance a Tesla or no? Yes, you can finance any Tesla, and you can also lease Model S and the Model X, but not the Model 3. You'll have to wait a little bit until then. All right, so let's move on to the next story, guys. There's so many things going on. Porsche is in the news with their Mission E car. They're actually saying, and they've released, I believe, a few bits of information today saying that they are, in fact, expanding one of their factories. They're putting in the assembly line, and they're getting ready to start producing these cars by the end of the year in a low volume, and then wrapping it up next year. They are also trying to make sure that it's expandable. If demand is higher, they can expand the production as well, though they are planning to produce 20,000 of them a year. For a luxury car like this is actually a pretty good volume. So I'm assuming that's both going to be for a while. They're also saying that the platform that they've created for this car is probably going to be reused. They'll build other cars within their fleet on this platform, which is smart. But also Volkswagen Group might get this platform and start building some of their cars on it, and even Lamborghini may use it as well. So that's actually pretty interesting news. So I thought it was pretty cool. So it looks like it's happening. Mission E is moving forward, and it's a pretty anticipated car to compete with the Model S once it comes out. So let's move on. Robert in the chat room says one difference between leasing a Model 3 and a C-Class. Should the former happen, Tesla isn't trying to offset gas guzzlers. Well, there's another difference actually. You get, if you're leasing in the United States, you get your $7,500 rebate calculated into the lease immediately. You don't have to wait until the next year when you file your taxes. And even if you're not qualified somehow because of your income, you still get it immediately, pretty much like a rebate if you lease any electric car, really. So that's an advantage. All right, next story. There was a lot of Twitter stuff going on last year, I think December, I think it was in January, and a few weeks ago. Elon was promising a lot of updates. He was talking to, taking requests and talking to some of the customers on Twitter, which he likes to do. And he's promised a bunch of interesting things. Well, today he delivered on one of his promises, even though it's a little one, but somebody requested that they would love if they have a heater for the wheel heater on. If they leave the car, when they come back next day, they want that feature to be on. I'm not really sure if that's the big priority, because really you just have to turn it on. I mean, I know it's annoying, but nevertheless, the update that they're rolling out right now, the over-the-air update for the Model S and the Model X, will have that feature now. So Elon is delivering, and literally a few hours ago, it looks like that he also tweeted that they are in the final stages of testing the next rollout of Autopilot, which is interesting to see. I mean, I know there were a lot of pressure to release something, so it's not, I'm not surprised, but nevertheless, let's see what happens with Autopilot and what they're going to come up with. All right, also SolarCity, I don't know if you remember about this company, but SolarCity, basically the solar panels and solar roof and Powerwall products of Tesla. Tesla acquired them last year. They've been pretty quiet, really. They've been really quiet, but with the ramp up of their Panasonic Gigafactory 2 in Buffalo, hopefully a solar roof will be moving forward. It seems like they are. But also they announced that they're going to be adding displays for their products in 200 more Home Depots. They're already in some Home Depots. So it looks like they might start pushing their energy products. I personally think that the energy products may just make Tesla that $650 billion company that Elon Musk is betting on and within the next 10 years on the Tesla board, because I think it can actually outsell the cars. I think the energy consumption, the retrofitting homes with the solar roofs and power packs and selling into businesses may just be the main business of Tesla in a few years. So it's good to see that they're finally moving forward, because a lot of other solar companies, including a lot of startups, they were formed from their, former employees and contractors that they had to let go last year. They've been catching up and passing them in sales. So I hope Tesla can wrap it up and start bringing those. Let's see. I'm just looking at somebody in the chat room. Says Cormac Sheehan says BMW apparently have the best selling EV, but don't pay any attention to that. They have a huge advantage. Well, I'm going by numbers. I mean, again, I cited Inside EVs have been pretty a solid source. I will look it up again, but no, BMW i3 has not been selling that great. Also, it's not the best selling car in the world. Nissan Leaf is. So unless you can give me the source or where you're getting your numbers, I can tell you where I'm getting mine, and they've been pretty solid. Let's see. Yes, Mercedes-Benz and BMWs are probably trying to reverse engineer Tesla. Brian, that's really a pretty standard kind of a deal that that companies go through, especially when something like a breakthrough company like this goes on the market. And also, to be honest with you, they've done it with their previous cars, and Mercedes-Benz got caught taking the Model X apart, except for they didn't buy it, they rented it and tried to make it look like everything was okay, and they gave it back, and there was a big lawsuit and a scandal. But we already talked about it. Let's move on to the comment of the day. Of course, my favorite part of the show. And actually, this one is talking about this car that I covered. I think the video came out yesterday about Chopo Motors, a Chinese company that I saw at CES. They didn't really want to talk to me or really any, I think, US media. They've been selling this car in China for now, it's a third month. People call it a Tesla clone. I really don't see any resemblance, to be honest with you. It's priced in its 40s. It's got a decent range, 186 miles and everything. Street Machine 18 had a comment. It says, can we port these to the States? They're looking for some sort of a workaround. And the thing is, importing a car from another country that is not being sold in the United States is pretty much impossible. Now, if this was like a right-hand side wheel car versus the left hand side wheel car that they're already selling in the United States, then yes, you can actually squeeze it through. If the car is more than 25 years old, kind of a classic car, yes, you can import it. But if it's a car being currently made in another country but not in the United States, it's pretty much impossible, because what you have to do is you have to retrofit this car to meet all of the emission standards and all of the safety standards and a bunch of other paperwork. But in order to meet the emission standards, you're going to have to do some testing on your own, and you're definitely going to have to do crash tests to prove that it's safe. A cart, and so you're going to have to buy a few cars basically, and you're going to have to crash a few of them to prove that it meets all the regulation in the United States, and then retrofitted with a bunch of stuff that the United States requires for the cars to have if you want to drive them in here. Let's see. Well, so thank you for that. The comment section has been booming lately, so I've been spending a lot of time there, which is cool. Thank you so much, guys. That's always fun to do that. Yeah, so this day was full of news. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Don't forget to go to the description of this video, click on my referral link, sign up with the newsletter for Tesla, and we both will be qualified to hopefully win a semi-truck test drive in California. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for me. I will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Other than that, I will see you tomorrow, and remember to stay charged.